webinar is going to be much more focused on the Power Query section, because I think 3 months ago we did another session. We did a dedicated session for Power Pivot. It's just that there are some aspects of this Power Query that will lead you into Power Pivot, so that's why I had to say Power Query and Power Pivot. So continuing, Power Query is an add-in in Excel 2013 and 2016, and you know, if you really want to benefit its gain a lot from its power, and then the amazing things it can do, I would recommend that you have 2016, because the 2016 edition is constantly being updated and it has a lot more features than the 2013 edition of the Power Query. And so Power Query, you'll find it if you are using 2016, it's inbuilt now, so it's not as a separate add-in. So if you go to your data menu, you're going to see get and transform data. So that is where Power Query now is being housed in Excel 2016. But in 2013, you will have to install it, enable it as an add-in, and then have it as a separate tab. So this is Power Pivot, but it will show it like this, the same way Power Pivot is showing. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to take you through the amazing use of Power Query. So first of all, I'm going to take us through a scenario where I have, so take for instance that you work for a company where you have different branches, and then every you know, maybe every end of the month, every end of a week, or even daily, you get data from each branches, right? So you get sales data from each branch. So this is Domino's Pizza, actually. So this is a demo data of Domino's Pizza. This is Agungi branch. And then I'm going to open the other branches too. So you can see Bagada branch, Ikeja branch, Lekki branch. And then now what you find yourself doing is that every time they send you this report, you need to create an aggregated report, one that will contain data across all the different branches, right? If you don't know Power Query, you'll be doing this manually, meaning you will have to start consolidating, you know, more like you'll be creating a new, so this is what you'll be doing. You'll be creating a new file, and then copying data from all of these ones, and so you'll be pasting, and then you'll be going to the different other branches, copying the data and then pasting underneath. See, and you'll be having to do that for all the branches every single day if it's a daily report, every week if it's a weekly report. And now the thing is, anytime there's an update too, again you will have to redo these steps. So is there a better way? How with Power Query can you achieve all of this, you know, seamlessly, even in an automated way? And so that's what I'm going to take us through. Please, if you can't hear me anytime, just please do let me know in the chat box, so that way I can easily, you know, make sure I fix whatsoever issue there is at this end, so I don't lose you. All right, so continuing, and then also if your screen resolution is not, if it's looking really blur, right, just change the screen settings. I mean, go to the YouTube and go to the gearbox and then choose let me show you how to do that real quick. So if you want to increase your resolution, all you have to do is go to these settings, and then you choose quality. You change the quality to the highest anyway. So I'm using 720, but in my preview it's not letting me pick up to 720. So you can do 720 and above, right? I mean, you can do above 720 or 480 minimum. All right, so back to here. So how with Power Query can you get all of this report done without having to open every single report they send to you and having to manually copy and paste? And that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to close all of these reports. Okay, if you have any question, also please do drop your questions in the chat box. So I'm closing them all. Great, closing them all. Aha, so let's see the magic. So I'm going to go to data menu, and then I'll see the get and transform, and then I'll go to get data from file, and then from folder. So a navigation, so this comes up, and then I'm going to navigate to where the folder where I have those reports saved. So I have the report saved in my documents. So, and then all those reports, I have them in reports folder. Reports folder. So this is what I mean. So I have a folder called reports folder where I dump all their reports in, right? So anytime they send me a new report, a new branch sends report, I just put the report in there. So I'm going to pick that report folder and say OK. And then I choose OK again. And so let me just do another check. Hope you can all still hear me loud and clear. Or should I increase should I increase the mic volume? So please let me know. All right. So immediately I do that, you see it picks all of the files in that folder. And then what I'm going to say is I want to combine. So I want to combine and edit. I want it to combine all of those reports into one for me, and then allow me to edit, make whatsoever modifications I want to make. And then it will, you see it do some work, and gradually it will open in the end the PowerQuery environment. Okay, so this is it. It's going to let me pick, so it will show me one of the files and let me decide if everything is as I want. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to say okay. So do go ahead, and then it will do its magic. Okay, and as you can see, it's done, right? Notice I have Agungi branch, Bagada branch, Ikeja 1 branch, Lekki Admiralty branch. So it's combined them. It's aggregated all the reports for me, right? And then I'm going to tell it I don't need this one. So you see, I right click on this particular field and say remove. I don't need. So every single change I make, right, it's keeping them in steps here, right? So it's keeping track of every of my change. I can undo it if I don't want, right? So that's the magic of this. So it's more like an audit trail if you are used to SQL or a much more proper data analytics enterprise software. So now I'm going to do that again, right? So I don't need that field, and then I will tell it to load back into Excel for me. So I'm going to close and load and tell it I want it to be back into Excel. Okay, so it's going to come up in a bit. Okay, so done. Don't mind that. Let me close this. Okay, great. So done, right? Can you see that I have all of them combined? And so now here is the magic. Before I continue with the magic, let me just make one more quick check to see that all is going great. Okay, and is my screen clear? So is the screen, the video clear? So I can hear that I've gotten confirmation that you're all hearing me loud and clear. So just want to be sure you can also see me very clearly. You can see my screen clearly. So continuing, I'm going to just make one more check. Okay. Okay, so I guess that is loading. All right, so well, I'll wait your replies. Okay, great. All right, so continuing. So here's the real magic that I want you to notice. So imagine that one more branch sends in their data, right? So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4 branches, right? And then let's say one more branch sends in their data. So let's create one more branch. So I'm going to drag that in here. So I'm going to create a new branch from this. So I'm going to call it Yaba branch. So I'm going to call this branch Yaba. And then I'm going to save. So I'm going to save it in here. So Yaba branch, save. Great. So now we have one more branch, right? So what do you think I need to do to get in that Yaba branch here? Now watch. Here is where the magic is going to happen. All I need to do is simply just come in right here, right click and do refresh. And instantly you'll see that Yaba branch as a, where is it? Oh, I forgot to do one minor edit. It has come in, but it's saving as Lekki branch. So let me just repeat that step. I'm going to go back in there. So in here, and then change the name from Lekki branch. Okay, Lekki to Yaba. So that way you will notice that really it has come back. So I'm closing, and then let me do the refresh. See? So it's there, right? So that's all you need to do. Anytime a new branch sends you data, all you have to do is just put the data in here. You don't have to do any recombination all over. Just right click, refresh, and boom, the data comes in. Shall I do one more branch so that way you get to see that so I'm going to create one more branch. Maybe I'll call that branch so Maryland branch. So I'm going to right click this and do move a copy, put it in a new book, create a copy. Okay, so I'll call this Maryland, right? Maryland, and save as Maryland. Okay, so I'll close everything and watch the magic again. I right click, I do refresh, and voila, Maryland is in here. So that's the magic of Power Query. It allows you to aggregate data. It allows you to be able to do something that powerful, that easily, without sweating. So that is that for about the working with working with reports coming from different people and having to aggregate them and using the folder approach. So I'm going to move on to another key usefulness of Power Query. So assuming you have data this way, right? So you get data reports that are already arranged this way. You have salespeople, and then you have different months. So I have January, February, March, and then I have the figures, right? So what if I wanted them this way? I want to have the salespeople and then the different months in front and the figures here. So maybe I want to be able to maybe filter, do some, I don't know what you really might want to do, but there are situations sometimes when you will want to have your data arranged this way, but this is the way they came in, right? So how are you going to achieve that in Excel? If you are using Excel without Power Query, this is going to be a lot of work, because you're going to have to start copying one person, copying the person's figure. So this is what you essentially be doing, paste, and then you copy these, and then you're going to have to paste transpose, and then you're going to have to paste transpose, then drag the name down, and then I'll say month, and then sales, and you do this also for every single person. So that's a lot of work, right? So how can we do this in Power Query? So I'm going to show us that. Let me just check if there are any questions for me. So, okay, Kevin is asking, can you choose specific files from a number of files in a folder? Yes, you can. So let me show us that. So let me just hold on a bit for me on this. Let me answer his question by coming back here. So his question is, in the folder that I connected to, can I choose to work with just some specific files? So maybe not all files, just some specific files. So let's again do that and see how, if that's what you want, and then how are you going to achieve it. And maybe to make it more real life kind of, I'm going to put in some files in here. So let me just go and look for some files from somewhere else. Let me pick some files from somewhere else. Okay. Okay, so let's say I have this, maybe I have these files also there, and then I'm going to put them here. Okay, so I'm doing that already. So I pick reports as I've done before, and then I do OK. So since there are specific files that I want to combine, so what I'll do is I'll first do edit. I'm not going to combine straight up. I'm going to do edit first. So when I do edit, it will open up the PowerQuery window. And I'm going to see all of the files. So there are two ways you can go about that. If the files you want to use, they have specific names, then you go to the name, and you will now, this filter and pick the ones you want. So maybe I don't want everything, I want just these specific ones. So if that's what you want, then you use this approach. So if I use this approach before doing the combining, it will always look for only these names, right? And then I can do combine. So there is also another approach. So I'm going to undo this. I'm going to undo that. Okay. So the other approach is, if the files I want have a specific extension. So here in this case, I have the macro XLSM, I have XLSS. Maybe what I want are files that are XLSS. In case you have many files there, you have PDF, maybe Word documents, and it's just the Excel ones that you want analyzed. So I can pick the extension of what I want, right? And so it's after I do this that I'll come to this combine here. So you can see this double arrow pointing downwards. Then I click on the combine, and you get back to that familiar. So you're going to see that familiar box, that one we saw while I was doing combine in the initial example illustration. So it's going to come back up here. So you see, and then I go ahead and say, okay, yes, this is the situation I have, and you should go ahead and do the combination, and I'll be, getting that same results that we saw. So that's how you also can specify which specific files you want to combine, either by name or by extensions. Okay, so great. I'm going to check if any more questions. All right, so I hope you are okay with my answer, Kelvin. Alright, so I'm going to exit that and then go back to the illustration I was making before the question. So back here, so how do I go from this to this? And so just watch. I'm going to just again select this entire table, go to data menu, go to from table or range, right? Tell it yes, my table has headers, and I click on OK. Instantly it brings me back to the PowerQuery window. So right here, right, I'm going to tell Excel that what I want is to unpivot. That's what we call it, where you begin to make what is along the columns, which are field likes, make them also in one row, and then the figures in front. So just watch. I'm going to click on this particular cell and tell it to unpivot the others. There's another way you can, okay, maybe this is better to illustrate. So I'm going to select all of the fields that I want to unpivot, right? And then I go to transform, and then you see unpivot columns, and I click on unpivot columns, and instantly I get the answer. So I'm just going to change this from attribute to month, and I'm going to change this to let's leave it at maybe sales amount, sales, since they are salespeople. So this is sales amount, and that is it. No, 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 no. This is month, right? And this is sales amount. And then I'm going to bring this back into the Excel sheet. So I'm going to load this right back into Excel. Okay, let me put it in this existing worksheet. So maybe I'll place it right in here and do OK. And guess what will happen? Done. Voila. Right? See? So maybe you have survey questions, you know, and you want to arrange the answers this way. It could be anything you want. If this is what you want, then you use Unpivot. So that is Unpivot, and then next I move to Pivot. So there's also Pivot. So I'm going to close this. Again, let me check if there are any questions. Okay, all right. So no questions yet. All right. So now imagine that you've carried out a survey and these are respondents, but the tool you use, and this is not uncommon, you know, when you use when you carry out surveys, SurveyMonkey or whatsoever tools and software you use to carry out survey, a lot of times too you get the answers showing this way, where it will show the person's name, what question you asked, what answer the person gave. And so you can see in here that I'm having this person's name, you know, show up many times, like as many times as the questions I asked and the answers in front. What if I don't want it this way? What if I want the answers to have their own separate fields and then just one row for each person? So I want to go from this to this. How do I achieve that? Again, it's very easy. So I'm going to again select this entire table, go to data menu, and then I'll say from table or range, I go with OK. And then I get the familiar, which you should be getting familiar with, query editor, PowerQuery window. So what I want is I want to pivot these particular questions and answer. So these two, I want them pivoted, right? So I pick these two, I go to transform, I come right here, but no, I go to pivot. So I go to pivot, and then it will ask me which one of them contains the values. So which one values are in the answer. If you care, you might want to check out what the no, do not aggregate. So thank God I do check that. So I'm going to click on OK. So don't aggregate, and voila. See, instantly it has broken down those different questions into their own separate columns and the answers showing beneath, right? So I'm going to now move this back into Excel. So close and load, and then again it's going to ask me where I want to put them. So I want to put them in this particular Excel sheet, but say maybe I want to put the answer in here. Okay, or should I? Okay, so let's put the answer in here, and that is it. Voila, done. So you can see how I've gone from these to these easily. Try that with Excel. Okay, Excel can pivot anyway, but this is a lot much more neater anyway. And so, any questions? Any questions? Okay, so while I'm waiting for your questions, I'll continue. So continuing, I go to text to columns. So you'll be wondering what more is there with Power Query as regards text to column that Excel's text to column, you know, Excel's inbuilt text to column cannot handle. So let's try it out. So imagine I have a situation like this, right? So what I have is first name, the less than symbol, the greater than symbol, last name. And so I want to separate them out, all those different fields, into different columns. I mean, all those different data entry. And so I go to data menu, and then I use the traditional text to column. So I want to show you what is wrong with this text to column that will require me to go and use the Power Query one. So again, okay, so text to column, yeah, delimited, so there's something separating them. And so the question now is, what is separating them? And so it's other, yeah, other, and then it's a less than sign and a greater than sign. But then I'm having a problem. Can you notice? I can't put two characters. I can only put one character at a time. And so you see that my answer is going to end up having the other, it's going to end up having this uh, greater than sign. And then the only way, you can now fully clean is now doing a find and replace. So I'm going to do a find and replace and say replace those greater than signs with nothing. And so, see, this is not an elegant way. There's a niftier way using, so I'm going to undo all of this and show you how with Power Query I could have achieved this without having to do, twice or use find and replace. So let's see. So I pick everything, I go to data, I go to from table or range. In this case, my data doesn't have header because I need to clean off the header also too. So I'm going to go on with OK. Brings me in here. So it's coming up. Okay, great. And then I'm going to say split column by delimiter. So it's going to come up. And so what's the delimiter, right? It is the less than symbol and the greater than symbol. And then you have other options you can check out, but for now that's all I need. So I'm going to do OK, and voila, done, right? And then I can now load this right back into Excel. So into existing sheets, I'm going to put it right here, and then I'll do OK. Great, I don't need these. So all these ones are easy to clean off anyway. But anyway, you can see the answer. So it's done, right? Without having to do any find and replace. Okay, so that is it. And moving on to the next segment. How about text to rows? So you might wonder, what is text to rows? Which one is text to rows? Okay, great. In some situations, you'll have, as I do now, I have different names. So I would like to separate the names, but then after separating them, I would like to have the names arranged horizontally, so instead of vertically. So let me explain what I'm saying. So if I do the text to column, Excel's text to column, inbuilt text to column, so I come in here, I see they are separated by a comma, and then finish, right? Now I have a problem. I need to start transposing. So I'm going to have to copy, transpose, paste, transpose. Then do the same for this, and paste, transpose. See, I'll have to start doing that for every single row. Transpose. So isn't there a better way? Yes, there is. So let's see how with the Power Query I can achieve all of that in one single set of steps, or should I say multi-step approach. So I'm going to select the entire table, go to data, go to, from table or range, go ahead, and then let me check if any question. So still no questions, but I hope you can all still clearly hear me. Let me just do. You can all still clearly hear me. Okay, so continuing. So it's here. I go to that split by column. Yes, there's a delimiter, there's a comma. And so I pick the delimiter. And the delimiter is a comma. So the extra thing is I go to the advanced option, and then I'm going to say split into rows. And that is all. And voila, done, right? See the magic. I'm going to close and load to Excel. So in this existing worksheet, maybe I load right here, and that is it. See, all done in one Simple step. Okay, so moving on, it's what if you want to extract data from the web? So I have a web page here that has population of all the countries in the world and some interesting analysis about them. So I want to bring in that data into Excel. So more like there's a web page that has some interesting data that I would like to scrape and bring into Excel. So this is the interesting data I want to bring into Excel, right? And by the way, in case you didn't notice, very soon India is going to be the largest country in the whole world. So they are almost overtaking China, and we are on number 7. So interesting. But so back to the main thing. I want to bring in this data into Excel. So let's see how. I go to that data. I say from web. So I put in the web address. I click on OK. And you hold on a bit. And it does its work. Great. And you will see some tables show beneath. Just in a bit, that's going to come up. Okay, and so this is the table that I want, and that is all. So I'm going to load it into Excel. So I clicked on load to, and it's going to ask me to where. So this particular sheet, I'm going to put it right starting from here, and that is it. So you can see it's working, voila. And now I have those data in Excel. If I needed to plot charts on them, do some extra analysis, I have the data. I can do whatsoever I want to do. And the interesting bit is next year, when there will be an update, all I need to do is just right click and do refresh, and it will work. You see, it's going to work and go and pull those data from me. So in case you have a website that the data is being updated daily, you have some web page you go scrape data from, and then there is frequent updates on those data. You don't have to do the scraping every single day. All you need to just do is just when you want to update your data, you just do refresh, and then Excel is going to repeat its processes and scrape those data for you all over again. Okay, so again, checking out for any question. So still no questions. Continuing. So how about from Facebook? So this is really interesting, useful for those of you who do digital marketing, social media marketing, and so you have, maybe you're running a campaign on Facebook and you want to analyze how many comments, how many interactions you are getting, or you are doing a gift, a free gift, like a promotion, and you want to give a gift to someone random, and maybe you've gotten over 2,000 comments. How will you be able to easily pick someone randomly, right? And so with Excel you can extract all of those data. So let's see how. So I go back to that data, I go to get data, and then I go to from online services, and I pick from Facebook. So it's going to show you this, you're connecting to a third-party service, blah blah blah, just to let you know that it's not from here forward, it's not within Microsoft's control. They're passing you over to Facebook. So I say continue, and great. So me means your own Facebook account. If you're trying to analyze a Facebook page that it's not your own, as long as it's a page, then you can also, all you need to go get is the object ID. You can Google for how you get the object ID for those Facebook pages, and you can begin to analyze. So it doesn't mean that it's only just your Facebook account you can analyze. You can analyze any Facebook page, page of a brand, of a company, of an icon, even your own personal page. I mean, promo page, not your profile now. So it's only if it's your profile that you leave the me, and then when you click on OK, for the first time it's going to tell you to sign in. So it's going to ask you to put in your, it will pass you on to Facebook, you sign in, and then it will now pick your sign-in details and bring you to where it's taking me. So in your own case, you're going to sign in first before you get to this stage. By the way, this is, it's not supposed to take you straight up here. I think I've done something. Let me see if, let me just repeat the step. So because what it does normally, it's going to ask you whether you want to connect to your Facebook posts, your comments, friends, whichever one. So okay, it asked me, I was the one who didn't pay attention. So in that place where it was showing me, so just hold on here, drop down here, you get these all options of what are the things you really want to analyze. So take, for instance, I'm interested in my posts, so I want to see the analysis of my different posts. It could be the likes you've gotten or the friends, because this might show up some information that are not mine, you know, people's personal information. So I'm going to just click on posts. So post, I do OK. Let me check if there are any questions. Okay, all right, still no questions. I guess you people are understanding perfectly. And so do you want to load straight away? Do you want to edit? So let's say edit, so that way you get to see what other things you can drill down to and how the data is being connected to. So when this is done loading up, okay, great, done. You see, it shows me all of my messages, all the posts I've made on Facebook, right? And then I can, you see, it shows, let's see, it shows some preview. So maybe I share the link, maybe I shared a link, I shared an event, updated my profile. Okay, great, that is interesting. And then what other thing? I can pick on any post. So let me look for a post that I think has some interactions. Maybe this one, and then I do record. So once you click on the record, it drills down into that specific post and shows you details about that post. So I'm clicking on it, it's going to drill down. So you see it's loading up. Yours should be faster, but you know I'm doing a streaming in addition, so I guess my data isn't as fast as it would be without me streaming. So just be patient with me as it's going to be worth the wait. Okay, great. So it shows me the message, the ID. I'm going to click on the record again, the time it was created, and it will show me the comments and likes table. It's going to keep drilling down and showing me more information about that post. So if there are comments, there are likes. So let's click on like and see if I had any likes. So it says the table is empty, there is no likes for that particular post. See here, this table is empty. And then you can navigate backwards. Do I go backwards? I can just go straight back to the source anyway. So, and that is it, because I don't have, you know, I'm not a very popular person, so my posts don't get that so many interactions. So that's why you are not able to see some interesting data about my. But if you are that social media person who maybe you posted something about your wedding, an event, and you want to see all those who responded, and you know, very good. Just scroll through it. Let me see if I might find. I seldom post any personal information that has things that people will now start replying to, responding to. But in case I come across one, I think there was something, just can't figure out which one it is. Let's see. I think this should have some interaction, so I'm going to click on this one. I hope it doesn't take as much time as the previous one took. Yes, replace. So that way you get to see. So I think this should have some interactions. At the minimum, it will have some likes. So it will probably show me who are those who liked it, and then if it has some comments, maybe who did the commenting and what they said. See? So now you see it says I have some likes. These people liked the posts, and then so like that. Let's not waste too much time on this. I'm going to close that. So discard, and so that is it. That is how you connect to Facebook. So the next bit is how do you load in data that has over 1,000,000 rows, over what Excel can handle, because anything beyond this number, 1,048,576, Excel is going to have trouble, meaning Excel is not going to be able to open them. Let me show you what I mean. So I have in here, having somewhere a file called big data, and if I try to open it in Excel, this is it, and then I tell Excel to open it. So let's check out what will happen. It has over 2 million rows of data. By the way, if any questions, I'll be happy to see the questions, so please do share any questions. So while that is loading, let me just check if all is going smoothly. So just checking out the preview. So it's still loading. Okay, great. By the way, let me see what will happen if I go to the okay, so these are your messages. Great, loud and clear. That is good. All right, so let's check. It's still opening. It's taking, it's a large file, so it's going to take a while. So just bear with me. And this is live, so I can't really cut off. I can't like say, okay, I'm going to edit this part out. Maybe after production it's possible to edit that part out, well, it'll soon be done anyway. So it's I think it's like 35% done. So this is a good opportunity for you to drop any questions you have. It's 40% done. It's getting to 50%. Okay, if you're watching this as a video, like the recorded version, you can fast forward. So you can fast forward these aspects. You wouldn't have to wait, for all of this to happen. That's the benefit, the advantage you get for watching a recorded version of the webinar. But for the rest of us, watching live, you just have to maybe go get yourself a cup of coffee, move away, do some task, maybe come back in a minute and a half. Or if you have questions, you drop the questions. It's this is really slow. This is really slow. Okay, it is I might have to just press cancel, but I don't want you to see what will happen. I want you to see that Excel will tell us that this is more than what it can handle, and and that way you'll be really certain that yes, Excel cannot by itself handle more than 1,048,576 rows. I think that error is going to come up any moment from now, because it's gotten to up to like half of that file, and then that's where the maximum size restriction kicks in. So if you notice, it's almost like it stopped moving, right? So any moment from now, it's going to pop up that error and tell us that it can't. So maybe it has popped it up. I never really even bothered checking. So see now, so it's saying file not loaded completely, right? And then It's saying file contains more than 1,048,576 rows, and that it cannot display, Excel cannot go beyond those limits. So if I do OK, it's going to go ahead and just show me what it can display, right? And you notice that it shows me all the way to the bottom. So what happens to the remainder? So that is not good. If you make any report based on that, you will have missed out a lot of information. So how with Power Query are we going to overcome that problem? Very easy. So I go to from text or CSV, I pick that particular large file, I say import, and as usual we're going to have the familiar Power Query editor dialog come up. Okay, great. Yeah, it's detected that it's a comma separated text file, so I'm going to go to edit anyway. So I'm going to edit, and then we have the Power Query editor come up, and voila. And so if I needed to make any modifications here, I do that. But looking at it, everything looks really good, so I don't think I'm going to want to make any modification in here. Once I'm done, the only difference is when I go to close and load. So when I do close and load to, I'm going to have to pick only create connection and then choose add this to data model. Add this to the data model. That is where now the Power Pivot kicks in. So Power Pivot can pick whatsoever is in the data model, and then Power Pivot is able to work with things that are, tens of millions, way more than what Excel can handle row wise. So I'm going to do OK, and that is going to load. So you will see it loading. It's going to come up. Just hold on. It's retrieving the data, and you will see like a success report, how many rows of data it's already loaded. So let's that should come up in a bit. Okay, so it's loading. Let me just check if there are any questions you guys have dropped for me. Okay, no question. So it's loading. The thing is, because of the many other actions are taken, so you are not able to see the progress bar. The progress bar is down here. If I scroll down, unfortunately, because of the activity that is going on, I can't scroll down. So you will have been noticing it to be saying maybe 200,000 already imported, 400,000 imported. Okay, see, you can see it. It's showing here now, but you'll have seen it, kind of bigger if it was here. So it's done 600,000, 700,000 rows, 800,000 rows, 900,000 rows, 1 million rows, 1 million 10, 1,020,000 rows. See, 200,000 rows, 1,400,000 rows. These are way more than what Excel can handle. So you can already notice that it has the ability to allow you import large set of data. And so I think it's almost done. So it's processing, it's creating relationship. It's I think it's done. So it's done, right? So you see, done. And so now where do I access this data, right? Very easy. All you need to do is go to manage model. So this is it. You can go to Power Pivot window from here, or you can go from here manage, whichever one. So this is data model manage. So whichever one you prefer from the Power Pivot window or from data window itself, just look for that Power Pivot model manage. So maybe I should use this one. But if you do click on these two, okay, they will do. You'll see it brings up the Power Pivot window, and then I have all those data I brought in right here. See how many rows? Up to 2,097,151 rows of data. So that's way more than Excel can handle. And then you can do a lot more too. If you go to it has the design window. So where is it? Design window. Yeah, design window. And you can create relationships. So maybe I have another table, maybe table with I have a table that has the targets, like sales target per different pizzas or managers, or whatsoever. I can have that also and do a relationship between them, and you can do a lot more. You can create hierarchies. So for all of that, you should watch the video, our webinar video on PowerPivot. I think that was 4 or 3 months ago. So but for this case, I'm going to go back to data view, and I'm just probably going to just take it to pivot table so I can analyze. So I'm going to tell it I want to put the data in this particular. So I'm putting the data in this particular table. So let's see. I don't know why it made that complain. Yeah, let's just go ahead with. Yeah, this is one funny thing that happens once in a while. I don't know why it's doing that, but I might need to maybe just close down, restart it. But you get the whole idea. That is how it works. So if that issue didn't come up, I don't know why that issue is coming up. If it didn't come up, that is what I'll just straight up do. Okay, since this is the last stage, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just retake that step, maybe using a new file. So I'm going to just close this, close the whole of this. I'm going to open Excel afresh, and then you'll see that work. So let me just check if there are any questions. Okay, so still no question. I'm going to finish on time today. This is good news. So I'm going to load it all up again. And I'm going to go to that data from text file, and the text file in particular, this one. Okay, so Kevin is really interested in the first section, the aggregating files. Can it work with files with several sheets, of which only a specific sheet on each file is needed? Yes, it can. Yes. So yes, it can. Okay, so edit. What you just need to do is make sure you specify the sheets that you need. That's all. Since I say I'm not going to make any edits, I'm just going to do close and load to. In fact, I could have skipped the whole edit and just say load to. So create a connection and do data model, and it's going to show me like a progress. You see, I don't know why it's managing space today. Okay, so it's loading 4877 199,222. So you can see the progress, and 400 and 500,000 rows, 600,000 rows, 700,000 rows, 800,000 rows, 900,000 rows. It's going to get to 1,000,000 soon. 1,000,000 rows, 1,100,000, 1,200,000, 1,300,000, 1,400,000, 1,500,000, 1,600,000, 1,700,000, 1,800,000, 1,900,000, 2 million, and should be done right about now. So it's downloading them in, so it will be trying to see if there are relationships or data transformations you need to make. Yes, you can. There will be a recorded version. Yes, you can access. You can watch the YouTube recording. So there's going to be a recorded version of the webinar. Okay. So this is done, and then, like I mentioned, you click on the Manage Model button, and it brings you right here. And so I'll tell Excel that I want to analyze. Most times you're dealing with large data of millions, of rows. You want to use pivot table to create your analysis, right? So going ahead, and you see it's working now, right? So that's what I said. I don't know why that error came up, and you can see I can create my report. I can do different time range on the column wise, and then I can do amount sold, and that will analyze for me the money we made, and that should come up in a bit. See, it's a lot of data, so I think it's a lot of computation it's doing. Done, right? So that is it, and thank you for joining us for this webinar. I hope you enjoyed the session, and just going to ask one more time, any questions before we round up? So any questions before I round up? So going 1, going 2, going 3. Okay, so if no questions, thank you very much. See you next time, and please do share with me your suggestions of whatsoever you would like us to take in future editions of this webinar. Do please share your suggestions of topics you would like to see us tackle. So, okay, thank you. Thanks for joining. Any suggestions before we wrap up for today's session? Any suggestions or feedback? What would you like us to talk on? Okay. Yes, you can import from Excel. So yes, you can import from Excel. So we are done with the webinar. If you're watching, you can safely move on. And if you have other work to do, I think it's just taking the questions. So as for Kelvin, what specifying the sheet you need, I don't have a kind of data like that, but it's very easy. You just simply pick the sheets you need. Like if you have multiple sheets, you pick the sheets you need in each of the different files and then combine them. Okay, pick the sheets you need for each file. If you try it, if you're having issues, you can reach out to me. So if you have any issues, after trying, what should I say, after a while trying, you can reach me via my email or WhatsApp me. I will leave my WhatsApp number, and then if I'm not too busy, I can help you out. And then we have a very vibrant, there's a very vibrant Excel WhatsApp group you can want to join. I'm going to share, if you're using added. Okay, it's there. You can see get data from online sources. Depending on your version, the where it will be different depending on the version. On your Excel 2016 version, you positioning might be different. The positioning might be different, so you just need to look through all of the menu. So look through all the options, you will find it there. It's definitely there, that I know. Look through all the options or menu, you'll definitely find it. You'll find it. You'll find Facebook, especially, Facebook. All right, so thank you very much, and here is where we wrap it all up. So thank you very much. See you next session.